Hey there, good people, it's your Crippled Critic, and I'm back again with another video on how to romance same-sex characters with male Shepard in Mass Effect Legendary Edition using mods, this time with Kaidan in Mass Effect 2. In order to alter the game's parameters, I'm going to be using something called the Trilogy Save Editor, which is a mod created by a guy named Carlitos. I'm going to put a link to where you can download this for free in the description down below. But if you haven't seen part one of the series, I definitely recommend going back and taking a look. You won't be lost if you don't watch it, but I definitely go into more detail about the romantic parameters in the series, and I explain why there is even any unused dialogue for same-sex romances to begin with. You can check that video out on my channel, but I'll also put a link at the end of this video. So, anyway, let's get into it. So first off, I have to say that the great thing about using the Trilogy Save Editor in Mass Effect 2 and 3 is that it's a lot easier to mess with the romantic parameters in the game. It's just more straightforward, and characters don't end up misgendering you, so yay. Now you can technically do the same method we did in Mass Effect 1 and mess with the gender swapping mechanic, but you don't have to in Mass Effect 2 and 3. There are other methods, and we're going to focus on another one today. This method only has a few steps and shouldn't take long to complete. In order for this to work, you do need to already made a Mass Effect 2 game file. Once you wake up from the Normandy crash and you can physically move Shepard around, then you save the game, exit, and then load the Trilogy Save Editor. Now load your most recent Mass Effect 2 save and go over and click on the Import ME1 tab. This tab should tell you all the important decisions you've made and the characters you've romanced in the first game. From here, you click the Romance tab and then just make sure there's a check mark next to the area that says Romanced Kaidan. Honestly, if you already used the Trilogy Save Editor to romance Kaidan in the first game, this area should already have a check mark, but I like to be sure. Also, if you decide not to import data from the first game, but you still want to romance Kaidan in the second game, this should still work, except you'll probably have to manually put the check mark there. After you've done it, go back to the top and click Save, then exit the Trilogy Save Editor, and load your most recent file in Mass Effect 2. And there you have it. Pretty easy, right? So you won't notice any significant changes immediately, at least until you encounter Kaidan, but one surefire way to know whether the Kaidan romance you did in the first game carried over is to check out Shepard's personal quarters and take a look at the picture on the front desk when you walk in. There, you'll see Kaidan's face smiling back at you. And actually, his picture should stay there throughout the entire game, unless you decide to romance someone else in Mass Effect 2. So the first and only time you encounter Kaidan in Mass Effect 2 is during the Horizon mission. After the Illusive Man briefs you on the next Collector attack and which human colony they're going after, he also lets you know of a certain Alliance soldier who was stationed on that colony as well. So, time to suit up. It won't really matter which party member you bring with you on this mission. I just like to bring Garrus because he's the only person that Kaidan's actually met, and there is some unique dialogue. Once you're done dealing with the collectors, you get to rescue Kaidan, and even though he's kind of an ungrateful ass about it, it's still a pretty warm reunion.
Commander Shepard, captain of the Normandy, the first human Spectre, savior of the Citadel. You're in the presence of a legend, Delan. And a ghost. I thought you were dead, Shepard. We all did.
It's been too long, Kaidan. How have you been?
Is that all you have to say? You show up after 2 years and just act like nothing happened. Thought we had something, Shepard. Something real. I loved you. Thinking you were dead tore me apart. How could you put me through that? Why didn't you try to contact me? Why didn't you let me know you were alive?
Not my choice. I spent the last 2 years in some kind of coma while Cerberus rebuilt me.
You're with Cerberus now. Garrus too. I can't believe the reports were right.
Reports? You mean you already knew?
Alliance intel thought Cerberus might be behind the missing human colonies. I got a tip this colony might be the next one to get hit. Anderson stonewalled me, but there were rumors that you weren't dead, that you were working for the enemy.
Cerberus and I want the same thing. To save our colonies. That doesn't mean I answer to them.
Do you really believe that? Or is that just what Cerberus wants you to think? I wanted to believe the rumors that you were alive, but I never expected anything like this. You turned your back on everything we believed in. You betrayed the Alliance. You betrayed me.
Kaidan, you know me. You know I'd only do this for the right reason. You saw it yourself. The Collectors are targeting human colonies, and they're working with the Reapers.
I want to believe you, Shepard, but I don't trust Cerberus. They could be using the threat of a Reaper to manipulate you. What if they're behind it? What if they're working with the Collectors?
Typical Alliance attitude. You're so hung up on Cerberus that you can't see the real threat.
You're letting how you feel about their history get in the way of facts.
Maybe. Or maybe you feel like you owe Cerberus because they saved you. Maybe you're the one who's not thinking straight. You've changed, but I still know where my loyalties lie. I'm an Alliance soldier. Always will be. I've got to report back to the Citadel. They can decide if they believe your story or not.
I could use someone like you in my crew, Kaidan. It'll be just like old times.
No, it won't. I'll never work for Cerberus. Goodbye, Shepard. And be careful.
So there you have it. Kaidan's big scene in Mass Effect 2. You'll know if the mod is working based on the scene, whether Kaidan gives you that passionate hug. If the mod didn't carry over the original romance from the first game, or if you decide not to romance Kaidan at all in the first game, then the only thing that Kaidan will do is give Shepard an awkward handshake, and he won't mention anything about love. After you get back to the Normandy, you'll probably get a passive-aggressive email from Kaidan, and that's about it for interactions with him. There's one other reference to your relationship and romance with Kaidan. It's in the form of a conversation with the Illusive Man. Just a really brief scene where the Illusive Man voices his concerns about the history between Kaidan and Shepard and whether or not Kaidan showing up will be a distraction for Shepard.
We have to make sure they don't abduct anyone else.
I want the Collectors stopped for that very reason. That's why we're doing this, Shepard. I'm devoting all resources to finding a way through the Omega-4 relay. We have to hit them where they live. Your team will need to be strong, as will their resolve. There's no looking back. The same goes for you. Can I assume you've put your past relationships behind you?
None of your damn business.
If it affects the mission, better you should leave it behind. Shepard, once you find a way through the Omega-4 relay to the Collector homeworld, there's no guarantee you'll return. To have any hope of surviving, you and your entire team must be fully committed to this.
And that's about it when it comes to Kaidan scenes or references to the romance. Unfortunately, just like Morinth and Kelly Chambers and Liara in Mass Effect 2, the Kaidan romance doesn't count as a full-on romance, meaning it won't affect the Paramour achievement. But if you do plan on romancing Kaidan in the third game, this will still affect those parameters. Alright guys, that was another mod tutorial using the Trilogy save editor to romance Kaidan, this time in Mass Effect 2. Please, please, please let me know if this kind of thing is something you'd like to see more of. If you want to see more tutorials showing how to romance characters with the Trilogy save editor, just let me know in the comment section down below. Thanks again for watching. I should have more stuff very soon for you guys. And as always, I will see you later.